It is too hot to be doing these. Too hot. Should have started this one inside, but I didn't. Hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Howdy, howdy. Killed all the frogs, but we still got cicadas. You hear them? You guys might not be able to hear them. I can hear them, though. What it do? What it do? Hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Tell me what I best not be doing, Mom. Hey, Paul, I got a grinder date. Should I go through with it? Why'd you bother getting one if you're not going to go through with it? Of course you should go through with it. Aw, dude, another little spider. He's cute. He's tiny. A burb. Yeah. You have a Tinder date today? Maybe you guys are dating each other and you don't know it yet. Wouldn't that be weird? Where's my vape? Where is it? It's inside. Why don't you not worry about my vape? Dude, Mendacious C's got a Tinder date today, too. Damn. Look at you guys. Out there scoring on Tinder. I refuse, by the way. Nothing against those of you that find love on Tinder, but I refuse. I won't do it. I shall not download the app. I was just watching one of your streams. Well, now you're watching another one. How's that feel? Scoring points till I can't no more. That's the way to do it. Rock it till the wheels fall off. Rock it till the wheels fall off. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know what I've got in store for me. Oh, what did I do with my drink? Did I not bring my fucking water out here? I could have sworn I did. So right there, cigarette. Where's my water? Where's the beef? Oh, I left my water. I left my Gamer Girl bathwater. Hey there, Gamer boys. Make sure you get your Gamer Girl bathwater. Any unnatural fears? What's an unnatural fear, though? Like supernatural? Am I afraid of ghosts? Is that what you just asked me? Is that what you're trying to get me to answer? No, I'm not really afraid of ghosts. Irrational fears. Oh, excuse me. I don't really like flying. Does that count? Get your gamer girl butt sweat now. Hey, thirsty gamer boys. Paul, when you worked a 9 to 5, what was your homecoming routine? Like, what did you do when you got home? Depends. Like, I used to shower right after I got home a lot because I would just feel like grimy and gross and sweaty and nasty. So either shower or just like go jump in my pool. Those were my usually well, I guess that like in the winter I was different. Like I guess if I didn't get super hot and sweaty at work, then I'd probably just come home and change out of my work clothes, because the last 9 to 5 that I had was I had to not dress up, I guess, but I had to dress nice for it. It's like, you know, a polo or a button-up shirt and slacks and dress shoes and all that shit. So that is like as far from me as you can get. So I'd immediately want to take that shit off when I got home. I remember that. Well, if I was going to use the pool, I wouldn't shower. I'd just go jump in the pool. Did you smoke while working for the school? And did anyone ever comment on it? Whatever, if so. Like, I smoked cigarettes and stuff while I worked at the school. And sometimes the kids would tell me I smelled like cigarettes in the morning, which always made me feel like shit. I never smoked in the school, no. I would take my scheduled break and I'd go drive around the block and smoke a couple cigarettes or some shit. I refuse to work in a place that makes me wear dress pants again. Yeah, but what if you get like, what if it's a really good job though? Like, what if you're gonna get paid? Were the kids you worked around jerks? Yeah, some of them were. Some of them were little jerks. But most of them were just kids. Shut up about the cigarettes, man. Please, just shut up. Just give me a fucking break. Can we just be adults here? Can you let me be an adult? I would really appreciate it. Super appreciated. Thanks. Go ahead. Make my day. Get yourself cancer. I don't care. Do whatever, man. You wanna have cancer? I'm not gonna stop you. What's your opinion on black and milds? Ghetto ass ways to smoke. I've smoked a black and mild on numerous occasions, but it's kind of like the hood way to smoke. Man, these are some bland ass questions. How's Dinar? He's fine. Look at him right down here. Let me see if I can get Dinar. Look at him. He's on the case. He's on the case. It's being a dinosaur. Why do you keep your sunglasses on top of your head? I don't know. I mean, like, honestly, it keeps my hair out of my eyes a little bit. Oh, look at Dino, the wee little cutie. With his wee little boots. Little Dino. So cute. You're a cutie dinosaur with your wee little face and your wee little beard, your wee little feet, and your cute wee little nose. Uh, don't take money. Don't take fame. I've done a doggy DNA test on him. Yeah, we see. I think it was last Christmas. Ashley and I split it and got that for a present for one another. We got him a little doggy DNA test and sent that off. So now we know what he is. I guess. How old is he? He's going on 5. He'll be 5 in April, I think. Yep, turns out he's 100% a dog. He is, in descending order, Shih Tzu, Cocker Spaniel, Chihuahua. Yeah, we got him as a pup. Yeah, he's not a rancor or a dinosaur, as a lot of people thought, or an extinct breed of wolf that was just genetically not capable of taking care of itself and died off in the Ice Age or something. Or a cat, or a deformed cat. I've heard that before too, that Dinor is actually just a deformed cat. I can tell you with authority that none of those are true. He is, in fact, a dog. Just a plain old dog. Can you imitate his blank face? Yeah, like I just can't point my eyes in opposite directions, but it's exactly this. That's it. That's his face. All it needs is my eyes pointing, I just need to, if I could point my eyes in opposite directions, that'd be the perfect Dinor. I wonder how Dinor would be if he were raised around cats. Would be funny to see. I don't know, man. He acts like a cat sometimes. He grooms himself like a cat. It's a face I've never seen on another dog. Yeah, he's a special boy. Hey man, loving the extra chances to chill with you recently. I'm pretty down right now due to my family and enjoy having company with a friendly face, but at times feels as rotten as I do. Yeah. I mean, that's why we do these things, dude. That's why we do these things. We're just trying to keep each other sane, or drive each other insane. One of the two. At least we won't be in this horrible fucking middle ground where you feel like you're going insane, but you never quite get there. Man, that's where I'm at. I feel like I'm slightly insane, or going insane, but I'm not quite there yet. Like, I'm still taking care of all the things I need to take care of. I'm still doing all the things I need to do to be an adult. So I must be doing okay, right? Yeah, I mean, I think it goes without saying that I'm insane considering I do this on my own volition. Sometimes twice a day. Fuck me. sudden. Come on. Inside. It's too hot for you out here, bud. Too hot. Paul is cold-blooded. Cold-blooded? How you figure? What have I ever done to you to deserve such an insult? Watched the Myler interview on DP last night. Good times. Hey, good times. Great oldies. Oldies 92.9. Do you know anything about TERFs or their ideology? So trans exclusionary radical feminist, right? I don't know anything about them other than that they are kind of violently opposed to the idea that trans women should be included in the feminism umbrella or should be considered as actual women. That's all I really know. I'm not wearing long sleeves. I'm wearing 3/4 sleeves. See? Look, I'll prove it. Look. See? That's not a long sleeve shirt. That's a 3/4 sleeve shirt. That's a raglan shirt or whatever they call it, or a baseball shirt. You know, that ain't shit. What am I supposed to be out here wearing, a tank top? You guys want me to just take my shirt off and do this and sit out here like a true gangster? 'Cause I'll do it. I don't even give a shit. I'll sit out here and sunbathe on my porch. Do it. Nah, that's okay. Highdeology is not ready for my pale man boobs. I recommend trying women's clothing. Okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll see what it feels like. I'll throw on a blouse. Wear a wife beater? Nah. I don't even think I own a wife beater. In fact, I know I don't. I don't even think I own like a tank top or anything. Do you support trans rights? I support all rights. I support human rights. I support the rights for human beings to be human beings unimpeded. How's that? Does that cover it? Oh, but we are ready for your boobs. We've seen you fisted. You even flushed us. Oh. Do you watch ContraPoints? Yes, I do. I know you probably get asked this a lot, but advice for a beginning video maker: find another profession. No, I'm kidding. Only slightly kidding though. No, it's tough. You need to work with other people, like, in order to get your name out there, unless you're just lucky and you win the lotto and you make something that's so good it goes super viral. I would say that, like, your best bet is to make content that appeals to somebody who's already, you know, established, and appeals to you at the same time, and try and get a collaboration going, or find somebody who's willing to give you a shout out or something like that. Depends on the genre as well. Yeah, it really does. I mean, there's a lot going into that question, but just like the generalized advice I would be is network. Would you do a DFF on the trans movement and its history? I think it'd be cool. It's kind of in line with this, like, humanity DFF that I want to do. I want to do like this big block of DFFs, maybe all at once, or maybe just like sprinkled out. But I have these ideas that are all kind of tangentially related to a bigger idea, but really I wouldn't want to do it in one show. And the idea that I've had from the very beginning was humanity, not just necessarily these little subgroups of humanity, but the struggles that humanity has gone through to get to where it is in general, you know. So you know, I think I've talked to you guys about it here before. how I want to do a DFF on all of the racial subgroups. So DFF the whites, DFF the blacks, DFF the Mexicans, DFF the Asians, DFF Middle Easterners, DFF Indians. You know what I mean? And then start doing some religious groups. You know, DFF the Catholics, DFF the Muslims. You know, and then maybe some sexual subgroups. DFF, you know, trans people, DFF the gays, DFF bisexuality, you know, even maybe some of the more new and inclusive ones like pansexuality or something. Well, that's why we haven't done it. I mean, covering the show like that, even if it was clearly not designed to be offensive or to cover those things in any way that was like not truthful, it still wouldn't fly. But I also think the trans movement in particular would just make for an interesting show, period. So even outside of that idea, I think we could do a pretty cool show on the trans movement. Hey Paul, my friend said I should sell the beanie you gave me for 10 grand to a crazy fan, but it's staying mine unless you want it back. No, that's yours, buddy. I don't think that there's a crazy enough fan out there to pay 10 grand for a beanie that I bought off of Amazon for like $5 10 years ago. Nah, dude, that's that. You do whatever you want with the beanie. I gave it to you because you looked like you were cold. Thoughts on if there's a third gender? A third gender? I don't know, man. Like, okay, so there are definitely people that express characteristics, both secondary and primary sexual characteristics from both genders. So isn't bigender a thing or intergender already a thing? "69 genders. Intergender is a meaningless as no gender." I mean, what about a person that has multiple primary and secondary sexual characteristics across both, you know, parts of the gender binary? What do you call them? Like, if it's all about classification, what do you call somebody that, you know what I mean? I don't know. Is there a desire in the SJW movement to destroy the concept of gender? Like the idea that gender is a useful thing, to a useful descriptor or whatever? Or is it more about adding to the genders, like adding more ways for people to be more expressive about the genders? Like, what's the drumbeat? Like, if there is one, is it about getting rid of the idea of gender, or is it about expanding the idea of gender? See, I don't really know. I don't know if I could answer that question, but maybe some of you could. It's pretty varied, yeah. I mean, I guess if you wanted to ask me where I came down then on that dichotomy, I would be way more for just kind of doing away with the idea of gender. Now, not necessarily everything that comes forth from that idea, but doing away with the idea of gender is something that's informative about a person, because I really don't think it is. I don't know that either one of those paths, by the way, the doing away with gender or expanding the idea of gender, is the right way to go about things. But if I had to choose one, I guess I'd go with just doing away with the idea. Unisex public bathrooms, absolutely. Why not? Make stalls for people. Go in there and pee and poop and do what you got to do. Leftist activism is a surrogate activity meant to temporarily satisfy the power process. It isn't actually about solving anything. No. Well, I'm sold. That dude must be correct. Because he sounded like it. What a silly assertion. That silly assertion is echoing in my brain. It's just like historically debunked. Like, I don't even have to think hard to debunk it. I don't know why you would type it out or how you would get yourself fucking roped into a group of people that thinks that that's a smart statement. Oh my goodness. Gender is very informative for most people. I'm down for unisex bathrooms. As far as people goes, their gender plays a huge role in their personality. How so? In what ways? Like, I don't know. I don't know that I buy it. Because I've just known people that are all over that expressiveness level. So you might say like, well, the dudes are more into dude things. Well, I've known chicks that were more dudes than most dudes I know. I've known super butch chicks, and I've known super effeminate dudes. So where do they fall? Right? Isn't that the cause of this conflict? Like, where do the people fall that you can't immediately go like, yeah, he's a total dude because he does dude stuff, you know? I don't even feel like I fall into that. I do some dude stuff, you know? I can't say that I do a bunch of lady stuff, but most of the stuff I do is just general human activity stuff. You know, men and women sit on their couch and binge watch Netflix. Men and women play video games. Men and women go out to eat. Like, all of the things that I really enjoy doing, you know, very few of them would I label as man activities. So really, how useful is it? Yeah, it varies, but as a general rule, there are gender roles, right? What do you think that they're useful now, though? Like, do you think that the idea of a gender role is actually useful in the modern society that we and our parents parents built? I don't think it is. In all my relationships, my partner has worked. I've never been the sole breadwinner. I've never even been in a situation where I wanted to be that. That was never an option for me. It's just, people work now. Like, women go off to work the same jobs dudes do. My first real relationship, I worked the same job that my girlfriend did for almost the entire balance of our relationship. We worked the same amount of hours. We brought home the same paycheck. You know what? Gender roles are, I don't know, outdated. Seems to be the idea that keeps popping into my head. Anachronistic. Not something that you should expect. So once again, it brings us back to this question, like, what is served by talking about gender as a binary? Like, what do you know if I go, John is a man? That he has cock and balls? What else does that inform about John? John is a man. All right. Well, I like knowing that somebody has cock and balls or not. Why? What do you know? You tell me. I'm thinking of an actual person here. John. John is a man. He pees standing up. You don't know that. You don't know anything about John. I know John. But I want you to tell me something about John that you know for an absolute fact that is specific to the fact that he's a man. John is this. That is indicative of only men. Give it to me. John is a man equals testosterone. Women produce testosterone. Some women produce a profound amount of testosterone. Some women produce more testosterone than men do. Testosterone is a human hormone. John can't birth kids. Well, there you go. Okay. You gave me one. It's a reasonable assumption that if John is a man, that he can't birth kids. But it is an assumption. Some men lactate. Hey, check it out. Some men do lactate. I had a surgery when I was 11 or 12 years old to remove a profound amount of breast tissue that I had developed that I shouldn't have. I've got a cock and balls, but at one point in my life, I also had tits. I still do. John has a skeletal structure that lets him run faster and have more muscle leverage. You don't know that. Now, you might know that men in general have a skeletal structure that has more muscle, density and the ability to run faster and all of that, but you don't know that John does. So basically, I've heard things about John's genitalia and assumptions about his skeletal structure and muscle density. Still haven't heard any hard reason why you know anything about John because I told you he's a man. And the point of that being, I'm asking the question, like, how useful is it as a descriptor? When I ran cross country in high school, I could do a 5-minute, 50-second mile, and some of the girls could run faster. Bad argument there. Absolutely. I mean, of course, there are outliers in every one of these. So, like, in general, we're left with this big question mark still, where everybody, or like not everybody, but some of you seem to feel very defensive of the traditional idea of a male-female gender binary. But when I ask you some questions about, like, what it informs about a person, you don't, like, I really heard nothing. Like, nothing. So, was his name just John, or is he just John as in a pimp? No, his name was actually John, and he spelled his Jon. John is actually no longer named John. John's name is Sarah now. My oldest friend is the person I was thinking of. A person that was very small in frame, not very good at sports, on the weaker end of things, shorter than everybody around them, shorter than all the rest of our friends, closeted his entire life, and then eventually transitioned and became a woman, and is now Sarah. Not the Sarah from in here. I don't think. If that's the Sarah from in here, that's pretty dope. Oh. The question is, did John turn you on? John was the first person I ever fooled around with. but I was real young, so I don't really know that turned you on comes into the equation. But Paul, you ain't got the stones, my guy. I ain't. You want to test me, boy? You want to see what kind of stones I'm keeping? It doesn't count if it's before 5. All right. What about all the after 5 stuff? What about that? Martin Prince dead. Don't know who that is. Who Martin Prince? Is that someone I'm supposed to be familiar with? Even if someone doesn't believe being trans is real, why can't they just let people do what they want? Why do they seem to need to let everyone know? Well, there's a real defensiveness of it, but I'm not sure I can get to the bottom of it. There seems to be a real defensiveness of this idea of gender as a hard binary. I don't see it that way. I see gender as more of like a sliding scale between 2 binary points. And I think that people fall at varying levels on that scale. And I haven't seen any other reason to believe that, like otherwise. I mean, what do you care about athletic competition for, though, dude? Like, is there some trans, is there some trans woman that's like looking to join your favorite female sport and bust up all the dudes and cross them up? Like, is there a trans woman trying to get in the WNBA right now that's just going to be flossing and dunking like Michael on everybody? I'm being anecdotal. You're the one invoking the anecdote of women are going to start, going into men, and men are going to start going into women's sports, and blah, blah, blah. You're the one invoking this specter that you can't fucking provide any evidence as an actual fucking concern. Like, has a trans woman just beat every other actual biological woman in the world and won the gold medal or some shit? Like, why are you so up in arms about something that we just got done talking about? You can't even demonstrate, like, what it informs about a person, other than the fact that you can extrapolate what kind of wedding tackle they have hanging between their legs. Like, you didn't know anything about John until I told you a little bit about John, and I'll tell you what, you still know nothing about John. Because he's an individual. I knew him as a kid and as a teenager as an individual, and I know her now as an individual. So what assumptions are you making? What are these grand assumptions that are so important that need to be protected, Bobby, and the rest of you that might be kind of on the other end of it? Because I don't hear any of it. They're afraid of being emasculated. I mean, maybe. I won't put that on them. But I don't know where that fear would come from. TJ already addressed that sports are full of unfair birth advantages. I mean, that's absolutely true. I mean, yeah, dude, if you're a 7'4" motherfucker, you're going to have a way better chance of being an NBA player than anybody else, despite your actual skill with the ball. You know what I mean? Is that gonna start becoming a thing? Like, if you guys get what you want, and we make an ultra dodeca promise that no trans women will ever show up in biological female sports, like, are you gonna move on to that next? Now there need to be like height differences and shit. That needs to be, because it's not fair. I'm 5'2" and I can't be in the NBA. It's not fair. Where does it end? Like, when are people gonna get tired of trying to one-up other people with ideology? I take a firm stance on this thing that doesn't affect me at all, dude. Fucking Bobby Bush and the rest of you, your day-to-day is not affected at all if some trans woman fucking rides a bike better than the other women. Literally, Your 24-hour fucking day cycle isn't one iota different. Why the fuck do you care? Why are you crying? Why are you why are you white knighting all the women in sports? Why is it your job to be up in the fucking Highdeology chat, white knighting every female sports are you like a female sports agent or something? Because if you're not, it affects those women, then let them make the argument. I don't hear it happening. I hear people like Bobby Bush on the internet making the argument for them. Let the female athletes make the argument if they got a problem with the way it's being run. The fuck do you care? Yeah, and your day today isn't affected by most of the news you cover. That's just not true. Some of the news I cover isn't affected day to day, but all of the news that I cover affects my day to day because it makes me bread. It pays for the place I live and the phone I'm on. Is Bobby Bush getting paid to camp out and whine about trans women and female sports? I'm listening. Dear Mark, I'm listening, but you still ain't typing. Somebody can't care about something unless there's cash involved. No, I'm explaining to you why it affects my day to day. I still have yet to hear any explanation like that out of either of the two of you that are arguing with me. There are weight classes and fighting, so sure, bring it. All right, Bobby Bush. Okay, Bobby Bush. Whatever you say, Bobby Bush. You guys still arguing? You still bitching up a fit? That's actually Dido. Go in. Don't come out here with me if you don't want to be out here. To the moon with you, Dino. To the moon. Bobby Bush, you sound so stupid. How do you manage to put your clothes on? I wonder that about a lot of folks in here. I really do. I wonder how Bobby Bush puts his shoes on and makes sure they're tied. I wonder how that works, how it all works out in the end, you know? Which parts of yourself do you say are amplified in your internet persona? The parts you'd probably expect. My conversational skills and how funny I am or can be. I think those things are probably amplified versus actually knowing me in real life. I'm not a constant font of jokes, although I do joke a lot. Like, so I really don't have to put on any kind of face or whatever to do what I do, especially here. You guys get, I mean, there's a little bit of performance awareness that happens here, and it can be hard for me to switch off when I'm done with these, but, you know, these are way closer to what you get being around me. I don't like comedy. Oh. Ouch. Ha 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 ha, that's not funny at all. Good evening from the UK. Oh, good afternoon from the United States, my friend. From the deep, dirty South. Straight from the pulsating underbelly of the dirty South. About as deep south as you can get. Right here. It don't get much deeper than this. Do a DFF about DFF. We've already done that. In fact, it might even be a yearly thing. You remember after the first year of DFF, we had DFF equals DFF, the first annual DFF awards. I am last year's winner of, let's be honest, quite frankly, most of the prizes. Best host, biggest freak out, I think, went to me. Funniest moment, I think, went to me. I got it all. I got the whole fucking gamut, man. The whole ball of wax, the whole 9 yards, yeah. What's the difference between stage Scotty and real life Scotty? Stage Scotty talks more? Long time no chat, Paul. What up, Toast Woozy? Toast Woozy back in the house. Old school. Top-notch debate, fat boy. Oh, yeah? Was it? I mean, it was top-notch on my end. I won't speak for your end, though. So are you guys really will do the TJ 2011 episode, or is that just... No, it's being done. It's being worked on. Stage Scotty gets anger fits more often, I would guess. Maybe. I'm thinking about a channel clowning other channels. That's an original idea. How'd you come up with such a crazy fucking kooky idea? TJ said Scotty is funnier off stage in one of his recent streams. I don't know if I agree with that necessarily, but Scotty does have his moments off stage for sure. It would be funny to read from another channel. Why? Exactly. Have you tried the new Reaper sauce at Taco Bell? No. I don't. I've given up on Taco Bell. I'll try a Taco Bell when I move out of this area. But the Taco Bells around here are dog shit. Soggy, horrible, gross, flavorless, cardboard tasting dog shit. The only thing it's worth going to a Taco Bell to around here is to get a Baja Blast. That's still good. But I just I don't know, dude. I just don't have a Taco Bell in my area that I ever want to go to again. There's one right down the street from me. Like I could be there in less than 5 minutes. And I think I've eaten from there twice since I've lived here. And both times I wished I hadn't. I remember one time I actually got in a fight with Ashley because I was so salty about how fucked up the food was from Taco Bell. Dead ass true. She went out and got food and brought it straight home. And I started digging through for my tacos, and I pulled the first taco out, and it was just like wet on the bottom. The whole tortilla was soggy and gross. And so I started bitching about the food, and I was like, well, I can't eat this shit. And then she felt like responsible because she was the one that went out and got food. And so my salt escalated into a kind of a hurt feelings fight. See? This is what it's like. Behind the curtain. You got a Popeyes? Yes, we got a lot of Popeyes. Nobody cares about your drama. You always talk about the bad stuff in a relationship. Can you tell us something that's truly warmed your cold heart and happened between you and Ash? I mean, there's a lot of little stuff. I don't want to go like, dude, I'm just out of a breakup, man. Let me focus on the negative. And that one wasn't even negative about her. It was me. I was being a salty piece of shit. Yeah. I ain't trying to go there. People love drama. I know, but come on. Let a dude get over it. You know? Let a dude have some have some time. Do you ever want to marry again? Fuck you, Wasp. Hell no. That was not to the Wasp. That was to the question. Hell no. Did that wasp go in my house? Or land in my hair? Motherfuckers. Now I'm all irked about a wasp. Oh, I'm gonna close the door. Dino, go in there. Go kill that wasp. Kill it. Would you marry Jude Law? How long do you think it would take you to eat a man? Like all of him? I don't know. Ugh, stinking burrows, get out of here. Thinly veiled concern trolling. Dinor ever get stung by a wasp or a bee? I remember my doggy eating a bee and her little face swole up and I had to take her to the vet. I don't think so. I don't think Dinor's ever been bee stung. He might have gotten one. I think he got bit by a fire ant once. You woke up pissed off? Me too. But that's pretty much every day with me. I never heard your reasoning for why a trans woman should fight a biological woman. I don't owe you a reason for that. I don't know your reasoning for that. You haven't demonstrated your reasoning of caring. Like, I'm not going to do the Q&A with you anymore, dude. We established a premise earlier that you have not demonstrated any fucking reason to be concerned about, other than whining about female MMA being busted up, which I haven't heard any stories about fucking a trans woman winning the fucking female MMA title or anything, so. You're supposed to be entertained by what's going on the screen. That's what it is. It's sports entertainment. If a trans woman and a biological woman have a knockdown, drag out, entertaining fight, who fucking cares? Why are you white knighting for women who work hard to reach the top of their sport? Why is it your job to white knight against 0.01% of the population that every once in a while might end up in some low-level competition with an actual woman? Do you think that those women are so weak that they need Slow Norris and Bobby Bush from the Highdeology chat to be like riding in on their fucking white steeds with their sword and shield held aloft, gleaming in the fucking sun to protect them from having to work harder to compete with trans women? How's that for a question? I'll leave that to you gentlemen to stew about. So you enjoy these sports, but you think those women are so weak that they can't ever beat a trans woman? Or don't want it, or don't want the challenge, you just assume? I'm here for the women. I'm here for the women who work so hard to reach the top of their sport only to have a dude in a dress show up. Squish, squish, darling. The fuck out of here. A weak-ass, fucking trolley-ass position to be taken. I'm a grown-ass man, dude. You're going to have to come at me with something that doesn't work on the 18, 19, 20-somethings that you're usually engaging with. I'm a grown-ass dude. I've been around the block a couple of times. I'm here for the women. Oh, the women, they work so hard. Fuck you. Oh, fuck you. They don't dare point out other biological superiorities because their argument falls apart. Of course. Why do you defend transgendered so much? Because they're human fucking beings, and I think they should be treated as such. Why are you so pissed off that I defend transgendered people? Is it because all the stupid little fucking alt-light content creators on YouTube that you worship tell you you should? Is it because people that you, like, clearly, obviously look up to in a big way, and that you look to fill your head with smart things to say that you should be pissed off about it? Like, how is your day fucked up by me being defensive of the rights of trans people to be treated like everybody else? How is your day today different? You woke up, threw the cum-crusted fucking gym sock off your chest, rolled out of bed at about 11:30, thought about looking for a job, but then started playing World of Warcraft Classic until your mom came in at about noon and asked if you were going to go look for that job, and you told her, not today, I feel sick. You kept playing World of Warcraft Classic, and then you saw I went live, and you popped up on your second monitor some Paul's Ego to play while you grind on your new Paladin on World of Warcraft Classic. And your mom came in and asked if you wanted some lunch, and you said, no, I'm not real hungry right now, Mom, because you were raiding in World of Warcraft Classic and you didn't want to take time off of doing that. And then the raid kind of slowed down, and you guys were waiting for some people to do a corpse run, so you decided to jump in my chat and engage in a conversation where you pretend to be absolutely fucking blown away by the fact that I defend trans people. So once again, I ask you, how was your day any different than any other day? Stupid. I just think it's so monkey-like for human beings to even be still concerned about this bullshit, or pretending to be. Like filling their lives with trying to exclude certain people from certain activities just because me no like. So chimp-like. Like, be done with that. Be done with that in your life. How about you focus on Bobby Bush instead of wringing your hands and white knighting for female athletes? How about you take a good hard look at Bobby Bush and turn that pile of lumpy fucking dough into some cookies? Sound good to me? Like, sounds good to me. Sound good to you? Sounds like a fucking good idea. And you are triggered. Is that how you eject out of this, feeling like you're superior? I'm triggered by what's going on in here. Whatever you got to tell yourself to get yourself to fall asleep in your race car bed tonight. Wake up early in the morning for the scheduled raid in World of Warcraft Classic. You know what I mean? I ain't going to step in front of that. Connor Johnson, Death Robot, sounds awesome just from the name. Okay. Have I wandered into an alternate reality where Paul talks about sports, doesn't ban idiots, and no mods seem to be here? Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one today, but we're going with it. We're rolling with it. I think there are some mods here. They're just... I mean, I don't think anybody's done anything necessarily ban-worthy yet. Getting ragdolled in front of everybody is not against the unwritten law. Yeah, but this is like a... This is a... Yeah, see, we got some mod representation in the chat. But when I do these phone streams, it's super simple for me to self-moderate because it's all right there. It's just one click, you know. Boop, boop, you're gone. Boop, boop, and you're gone. Boop, boop, and you're gone. So The Spectre presence is really more needed on the desktop streams. Do they have a Piggly Wiggly in Louisiana? Yes, they got Piggly Wigglies around here. Do you need a coloring book and a safe space, little boy? Sure. Are you offering? Can I get one? Do I get to pick my own coloring book? And what's the budget on the safe space that you're willing to spend? Because, yeah, I'll take both. Dude's name is Stacy. Don't be mean to him. Don't be that mean to him. Are you ready for summer to be over? Yes. Today's not too bad, I gotta be honest with you. Now that, like, my porch is out of the direct sunlight, it's not too hot. There's actually a little breeze blowing through here, if you believe it. Paul, you used to fire people. How did you go about doing that? What did you say to them? I don't know if I'd be able to do it, although I guess it depends on the person. I was always very direct with it. I try to be slightly empathetic, but I'm very direct. I would call a person in and tell them to, because like they had to come and be delivered their checks. So you had to give them their check before you fired them. So I would do all the paperwork to get their check sent. I'd do all the firing paperwork, and then on their next shift, I'd make sure I was scheduled there, and I would pull them into the back right at the beginning of their shift and sit them down and tell them why I was having to let them go. And that would be that. I'd hand them their check and they'd go. I mean, there wasn't a lot of emotion in it for me because it was part of my job. I tried to be empathetic with people. Some people reacted negatively, but with me, most people were very like, sucks, dude, but I understand. I was like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I had a screamer once. I had somebody that got real mad, cried, screamed. But I calmed it down and, just explained to that person, I'm sorry. It's just out of my hands. You got to go. The more you don't want to be too empathetic in a situation like that because it invites that type of reaction. You want people to just feel like it's a bread and butter decision. No, I've never been threatened by anybody who I fired. I didn't fire a bunch of people. It's very rare in my career to have to let somebody go. Should have laughed in their face. Yeah, that would have de-escalated. Go have a seat in the corner and have a juice box. That's right. Grab a Capri Sun. I feel like I'd probably enjoy firing people. I did too, but not because I liked the idea that I was hurting somebody, but because I liked the idea of making my store more efficient. And when I fired people on the rare occasions that I had to, I always knew that my store was going to be better for it. It was like cleaning up a big mess. That feeling of satisfaction when your room's messy and then you clean and you dust and you vacuum and you make it smell nice and it looks nice. That's how I felt after firing somebody. So it was a positive thing usually for me. I worked for Starbucks for 5 years before I ever stepped up to any kind of managerial role, and I was never like a full-blown, full-fledged store manager at Starbucks. I did an acting store manager for a while, and I did a floating like opening store manager gig for a while, but I spent most of my time at Starbucks as a shift supervisor. So I would always step back to that when they didn't need me to be a floater anymore. They would ask, "Hey, you want to do a ASM position at this store?" And I'd be like, "No, I just want to go be a shift lead again, thanks." I had an opportunity to fire someone, but I told the general manager that I wanted him to do it. The employee just got out of a fist fight with another. Oh. whatever. I mean, if it ain't part of your job, it was just part of my job for a little while. Any violent incidents in Starbucks while you worked there? There was a fight once at the Starbucks I worked at in Arizona. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even really remember what it was over. It was a dude and a chick and another dude, probably over the chick. And me and the other dude that was working right now is a tall guy named Lucas. We just both kind of like turned into like these body blockers, where I went and got in front of one of the dudes and started like pushing him, like not pushing him, but just like corralling him. I was like, you guys got to take this outside. You guys, we're both repeating the same shit. You got to take this outside. Take this outside. Take this outside. You can't fuck up my store. Take out this, go, 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 go. We get them both shoot outside, and they fought out in the parking lot. The Starbucks I was working at the time was right next to a grocery store. So a big, one of the big grocery store parking lots. And they, talked shit and wandered out in there, and I saw them fighting, and then I saw the cops come. Somebody eventually called the cops on them. I didn't. I just kicked them out of my store. We had some people like yell at each other that I had to go tell to shut up or leave. But, no real like fights. No real blood was spilled while I was, well, that's not true. We had some injuries and stuff. Like people would burn themselves really badly at that. I mean, Starbucks is prone to that. Very common for people to get burned there. So I saw some pretty nasty scalds and burns. I got scalded and burned a few times, but as far as like, people getting crazy or violent. Were there parts of the day where there were no customers? I imagine Starbucks is always full. No, every Starbucks has its down times. I mean, it might not be totally dead, but there are times where you basically can run on autopilot. That's one of the cool things about retail is that, there's a very, at least in my experience, it might not be this way everywhere, but in my experience, it's very rush-based cycle. Like, so there's kind of a semi-predictable rush a couple of times a day, 2-3 times a day. So, and in between that is really kind of downtime. Now, a lot of that is filled with cleaning and preparing for the next rush, but there's a good cycle of chill and crazy that keeps the day feeling like it goes fast. What are the busiest hours? The busiest hours. Well, at the Starbucks, I was an opener. So the morning rush would start right around 5:30 in the morning and not end until about 9 in the morning, 9:30. That's a crazy rush. I loved opening because literally half my day would feel like it would go by like that. I'd get there at 5 in the morning. We'd open the store, get everything ready to go. 5:30, there's people ready to come through the drive-through. We open. Ding, 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 all day. Like until, like I said, 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then it just dies. And then you have more people on shift. The mids have come in by that time, so they're starting to take over their roles, and they're cleaning up a little bit after the morning rush. I was always on the espresso bar, so I would clean that, make sure that was nice and ready to go for the next rush, clean my area. It was a very pleasing and predictable cycle. Then we'd get another rush in the afternoon. We get kind of a little lunch rush on some days, around 2 or 3 o'clock, and then we'd get the on our way home from work rush, starting at around 4:35, and that would go till about, I don't know, 6 or 7, and then you might get like a late night kind of, we're night owls, or the people that work at night going into work around 9 or 10 right before close. Just started my 16-hour shift, Paul. Can you stream that long for my sake? No, I can't, bro. Sounds well. No, I didn't work the whole day. If I was the opener, if I got there at 5, I'd be going home by like 12:31 at the latest, 1:30 somewhere around there. So my day would be done. My 8 hours were in at noon. A lot of days. Pretty cool. Longest shift you've ever worked? I don't know. I've doubled up at Starbucks. I've opened to closed at Starbucks more times than I want to count. I pulled some long ass, late ass shifts at the school district too. I'd say, somewhere in the vicinity of 14, 16 hours. It's probably the longest I've ever worked. Worst fight you've ever seen damage wise? Um, I don't know, man. I've seen some people get busted up for sure. I saw a guy get his nose broken and they had to like lay him on his front while they waited for the ambulance to come because he was out. Like he got knocked out and got his nose broken because they were afraid he was going to drown because he was bleeding so much. That was a bar fight that I saw too. That wasn't even somebody that I knew that had perpetrated the damage. That one was fucked up. That dude got jawed. I don't remember a ton about it because I was at a bar and drinking. So, your memory's a little fuzzy. But he was a little dude, like a shorter guy. Like 5'5", 5'6", probably in my memory. And I think he was like standing up for his girlfriend or some shit, and he just got jawed by this big, muscly looking dude. He tried to get in the dude's face, and the guy reacted immediately. Like the fight, because I heard the other guy yelling, I mean, step back over. I can't remember what he was saying, but he was, doing that, puffing out his chest and getting in this dude's face, and the other dude just, you could tell the other dude knew how to fight. Punched him square in the face. Busted him up, knocked him the fuck out. He went down like this and was just like, and I remember a couple of dudes that were next to him jumping on the other guy to pull him off of that. The security at the bar came running over, rolled him over on his side, and he just started bleeding onto the little tile floor right there underneath the bar. It was fucking, like, I don't know that I've ever seen somebody get jacked up that quickly. So maybe that's why it sticks out in my mind. I've seen people be busted up and bleeding pretty bad, but I don't know if I've ever seen something be over that quick. It never even started, really. No, I didn't really have to deal with kids a whole lot at my job. That wasn't really part of my job. It was computers. The biggest dumpster fire of my last job was honestly just the job. We had cat cable that was installed in the early 90s in a lot of the schools that I worked in. So we're talking like Cat 2. And we were always, as tech people, trying to explain to the principals and to the teachers that the money that they got that's allocated for technology needed to be spent on a network upgrade. But that's not flashy. Like running new Cat 5, because at the time I started working, it would have been Cat 5 or Cat 5e. Now it'd be Cat 6, I think. I don't even know if there's something above Cat 6 now. But, they just come up with better, more efficient data transfer wires. And we had super old ones with, maximum bandwidth limits and transfer rates that were way below what Cat 6 would be. But that's not sexy. You can't sell that to a teacher or a principal because it's going to be in the walls. We had fiber to the schools. See, this is the fucked up thing. We had a fiber pipe coming in that was hooked into a California county line. Nice and fast. And we distributed that fiber over Cat 2 to the classrooms and to the teachers and the wireless devices that were in those rooms. A nightmare. Like, that may not make sense to you if you're not a whatever dork, but it's a total joke. and it was a nightmare. It was like I don't know, man. I don't even really know an analogy. Like Weekend at Bernie's comes to mind, where it's like your job to make a corpse look like a lifelike guy. That's what I felt like. You know, I felt like I wasn't really a tech guy. I was Weekend at Bernie's. You know what I mean? I was the dude showing up and making everybody pretend that the network wasn't just completely dead and unusable, that everything was going to be okay, that I could fix it. You know what I mean? Just a nightmare. But every job I've ever had has had its like nightmare scenarios and shit. So I can't really complain too much about the school district shit, because I've worked worse. I've had worse clusterfucks than that. My job title at the school district was Network Systems Information Specialist. That tells you really nothing about what I did. I was like the tech guy. I was the guy that fixed the computers. If a computer died, I was the one that came and hauled it off so I could fix it and replaced it with one of my extras. And if your laptop, you know, all the teachers had laptops. If your laptop was acting like shit, I came and figured out why. All the teachers had Promethean boards, which are like smart boards that have a projector, so I was responsible for all of that technology. All of the wireless on campus, the entire network was me. I was the only computer specialist on campus for 3 schools. So I wasn't even on campus most of the time at most of my schools, because I was on one of my other 2 schools. It was not great. It was just underfunded, understaffed to the max. There really should have been one of us at each one of those schools. Can you still work on computers? I can, but here's the thing. I worked at an Apple district. So all of the computers that I spent all of those years learning all the ins and outs of were MacBooks and iMacs and MacBook Pros and you know, old Emacs and old Blueberry iMacs that were, you know, the big kind of iconic first iMac release. We had a ton of those on campus still. I was responsible for all that shit. Apple servers. So, yeah. I know how to work on Apples, I guess. I know how to work on Apples from about 8 years ago. I don't know any programming languages, no. Don't you hate kids? School sounds like a horrible thing. I don't really hate kids. I hate the idea of having children. Kids are kind of fun sometimes, honestly. Like, I've got tons of little nieces and nephews. Kids will say some crazy shit, and I like that about kids. They don't have that filter built in yet, so they'll walk up to you and say some crazy, honest shit to you. Like, you look fat, you know? And like, you would think that, like, that would be, like, harsh or hard to hear, but it really isn't. And none of my nieces and nephews said that to me, but I'm just giving you an example of the type of things a kid will say. You know? They'll be like, you have a booger. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. You know what I mean? Thank you for your honesty. No, I like kids. Kids are fine. I don't mind being around kids. I just like the fact that I can hang out with somebody and their kids can be around, and I can have a couple of little exchanges with those kids, laugh with them a couple of times, and then send them home with their parents. I don't got to be responsible for them after that, you know what I mean? My little brother scraped his knee the other day, and while I was trying to comfort him, he asked, how many packs of skin do we have? How many packs? I need replacement skin. How many packs do we got left? No, kids can be fun. I just don't want any of my own. I don't want to be responsible for all of that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you know? Babies are really cute when they aren't crying. Babies I could do without. I got to be honest with you. I'm real nervous because like they're so floppy and tiny and like fragile, and people always want you to hold their baby. And I've done it a few times, and I'm always just like, oh God, please take this back from me. I feel like that I'm hurting this thing just by holding it. Please take it back. Its neck is so like especially like newborns. If you've ever been around a newborn, their necks are just like they got no muscles to hold up their fucking head. So if you let it, their head will just. Oh, dude, newborns also have this other shit. This is another reason why I'm so nervous around them. Because I was like holding a baby one time, right? And I was doing okay because it was sleeping. And I was just, I'd gotten over the nervousness of holding the baby, but I was just kind of like looking down at it while people were talking. I was looking at the top of its little head. And I noticed, like, as I'm watching its skull, like, I shit you not, if this was its skull, it did this shit. Right on the top. It was like, and I was like, so I'm watching the baby and it's like the top of its skull is doing this shit. And I was like, oh my God. I remember I was young at the time. I was probably like 11 or 12. And I was like, oh, there's something wrong with the baby's head. And they came running over and I was like, look. And they were like, no, it's okay. Babies' skulls haven't formed together yet. That's just the soft spot. It's like babies, it'll come together. And I was like, oh, another thing to worry about. The soft spot. Yeah, basically that was the end. I was like, well, why don't you take the soft spot back? There you go. You handle the soft spot. Do you ever worry about who will help you around when you're old if you don't have a kid? I mean, you say you won't get there, but you ever thought about it? No, not really. I might be one of those poor fucking bastards that just withers away in his own house or something. I don't know. Like, I try not to worry about that too much. I got plenty to worry about this year, I got plenty on my plate this year. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it, I spend a lot of my life worrying about shit like that, or at least being around people who encouraged me to worry about shit like that, you know what I mean? But it made me pretty fucking crazy, so I just don't anymore. You got lice now. Just like feels good to scratch your head when you got long hair. There's weight to the hair that hangs off your head, and it just feels nice to like massage your scalp a little bit. Feels nice. I bet $1 million you come from a broken home. Oh. Wow. Somebody would be stupid to take that bet. Most people come from broken homes. Mushrooms or acid, both. I love when other people scratch and massage my scalp. It does feel nice. It does feel really nice. You should adopt a teen. I should? No. No, thank you. I wonder how many people in this chat don't have a broken home. Yeah, that'd probably be a better thing to ask. Those are the unicorns. The days of, like, kids going through divorce being a rarity, those days are over. They've been over. Do you miss living with TJ? Not really. I miss some aspects of it. It was cool to have, like, a buddy of yours around all the time to smoke and watch, stupid movies with and shit. I kind of miss that. But I like having my own space. I think TJ likes having his own space, so for the most part, nah. Divorce is chump change these days. Chump change. Maybe for you it is. It wasn't chump change for me. Go on out there. Feel that wax? How did that song jump into my head? I just had that weird Mr. Brightside song. You guys remember that one? I don't remember. Was it the Killers that did that song? Your parents have the talk with you about sex. And in American movies, they always talk about that with the kids, but my parents never did. I just kind of learned myself. Yeah, for the most part, I did. I did get a very uncomfortable talk once from my dad that was totally unnecessary. Totally fucking unnecessary and really, really cringy. So, I don't even want to talk about, never mind. Never mind. This story even makes me cringe too hard. Have you ever walked out on a movie? Yes, I walked out on Monkey Bone, but not really because the movie sucked, which it did, but because there was a lady in there that wouldn't shut up. And she had a bunch of kids that wouldn't shut up. I thought sex was just laying down next to someone for like 4 years. Yeah, dude. I didn't. See, I don't know, dude. I knew. See, the one thing that I think my parents weren't prepared for was the dawning of the mass media age, and I was born, right in the thick of that. And so I just knew about shit from a pretty early age. Like I wasn't super precocious about sex for very long. Like as soon as the topic was presented to me, I was super interested in it. And that interest led to me finding out bits and pieces about it from different people and different kids that I knew. And then eventually I found stashes of porn magazines and, you know what I mean? So by the time my parents thought I needed to talk, I did not. Yeah, I mean, I'd say by second grade or so, I had at least a functional conceptualization of what it was and how it worked. The first time I spanked the monkey, I was probably 10 or 11. Closer to 10, I would say. You want in now again? All right, go in there. Kill the wasp. I found a porn movie in my garage and played it when I was homesick from school. Oh yeah, dude, a lot of shady shit went on when you were sick from school as a kid. That was like, especially if they left you there by yourself, which happened. Parents had to go to work. You're just gonna sleep all day. Most marriages do not end up in divorce. Well, buddy, calm down. I fell down in the shower first time. I think porn has already gotten there, dude. Porn is already acceptable in the mainstream. You walked on your mom watching porn on a big screen TV. Oh, gross, dude. On the big screen, too? Damn. Mom wanted a detailed look at the proceedings. Your mom's a freak. I don't think marriage is sustainable. It's not natural to spend the entirety of your life with one partner. See, I don't know. I'm in the middle of these two extreme positions that seem to be fostered. Like, marriage is wonderful and should be protected, and marriage is bullshit. I'm like, well, for some people, I think it is bullshit. And for some people, it seems to work fine. I think it's up to the individual. I think there are people out there that are like marriage-minded and people that ain't. I mean, there was a time where you really had to be. Like, if you were a dude and you wanted to have a partner, you pretty much had to be marriage-minded because that's the way it was expected to go. Like, you guys ought to be thankful that we live in a time where you don't have to be like that. Like, let me tell you from experience, there are plenty of women out there that don't want to get married, that don't have that, fantasy, that don't want to partake in all of that ritual or whatever. They just exist. They're all over the fucking place. So this idea that you have to like do that whole traditional thing, see, I didn't know. And I'm not saying that's the only reason I got married when I did, but at the time that I got married, I didn't know. I thought I was doing the right thing. This is what you're supposed to do. Find somebody that can put up with your bullshit, whose bullshit you think you can put up with, and you marry them. And you try and have kids with them. Like, that was where I was. Because I really had no example otherwise. That's what everybody I knew had done. All of the people I looked up to, my parents, my aunts, my uncles, all my friends and their parents, they were all doing it. All of my friends were getting married at the time I was getting married, I was the last one of my friends to go walk down the fucking aisle. In fact, no, it's not true. Waylon was just dating his current wife at the time I got married. So, but yeah, one of my friends had been married and divorced already by the time I got married. So it was all very, at the time in my life, it was supposed to be happening. 2007, 27 years old. That's about the time, right? You're supposed to be settling down. How come Scotty is the only one of you three who hasn't had a divorce? Because Scotty's been married the least amount of time of all the three of us. Like, I don't wish no divorce on Scotty, but Scotty's brand new in a marriage. He's been married like a year, if that. I was with my wife for 12 years. Call me 12 years down the line. Paul, would you say you're less or more attracted to women or men? See, I hate this question. I don't hate that you asked it. I'm not salty that you asked it. I just hate the question because I don't have an answer. I don't know. It depends on the person, I guess. Like, I don't have this, like, I feel like a lot of people have this, like, Grand Theft Auto style stats page in their head. You know what I mean? For all the things that they like. You like 50% men, 50% women, or you like 47% women and 53% men. Like, I don't even know how to think like that. I don't know. I would say that if I had to take a stab at it, I'm probably more generally attracted to women. But that's on the back end of being in the closet for 38 years. Like, what do you do? How do I answer that question for you guys? I'm the same way. Sometimes you just meet someone and everything works. I can find all bodies and skin colors and genders attractive. I mean, yeah, I guess that's probably true of me too. Has anyone insulted or attempted to shame you since you came out as bi? You know what I get more? You know what I get more than anything? And I don't even really think that they're trying to insult me, but maybe they are. There seems to be like an element of the community that thinks that I'm faking it. Like, it's not like, ooh, you're a faggot. I'm not getting that type of shit. I'm getting like, oh, Paul's pretending to be bi. And it's like, why would you do that? don't get it. Like, it may be more acceptable now, but it's still not a social climbing technique, especially not in the deep-ass fucking South, to be on the LGBTQ spectrum or whatever the fuck. It's like it's like a disbelief thing out of people, and it really, like, it bugs me because I don't I'm very honest about myself here. Like, I don't like to try and make up stories and present myself as something that I'm not here, because that's not chilling for me. So when I talk about my life here, I tell you guys the truth. It makes no sense. And so, and I like to be at least perceived that way by most people. And there is an element of the people that watch us that don't, they think I'm just like, oh yeah, he's faking it. It's like when you first came out, everyone called troll. I always wondered why people even thought that would be a fun. Yeah, it's not. Like, if I was faking it, it would be like a sad troll, because it does come off like, that I'm faking it, and I perpetuated this long that I was trying to get empathy points or whatever, or cool points in a kind of an alternative crowd or whatever the fuck. It's just a stupid decision to make a joke like that. People actually struggle with that. It was super fucking hard. Like, I don't mean to overplay it or whatever, or act like I'm some big old victim, because I ain't. But it was super fucking hard for me to come out. It was like dying. It was like horrible. I couldn't get the words out. When I first came, I came out to Ashley. It was horrible. Like, it was like my darkest of dark secrets. Something that I had just resigned to myself, that not only would I never explore it, but I would never tell anybody it. You know what I mean? And even though I had and it really was by virtue of the fact that I had been, at the time that I came out, for a few years, absorbed in a group of people that I knew would accept it. Ashley being one of them, Chelsea being one of them, TJ, Scotty, Taylor. None of these people are judgmental of me because of what I am and who I am. And so being in that environment is really what gave me the ability to finally talk about it with somebody. And then talking about it with that somebody gave me the ability to talk about it in, my broader community and social circle and shit. What prompted you to come out to Ashley? A fight. A fight that was not really us being angry at one another, but us just not being truthful with one another. And that was one of the things. Just not being open enough with one another to be a couple. And maybe that's what ended up killing us eventually. But I did it during that, at a time when it wasn't like a super yelling, screaming type of fight. It was one of those existential fights that couples will have sometimes. And I just felt like it was something that she had, that she needed to know about me, so she would know what I was into. And I was tired of, I don't know, dude. I was just tired of playing the role that I had to play when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, where I grew up, being gay was not acceptable. It just wasn't. In any way, shape, or form. And because of that, I played the role of a dude that just was grossed out by guys kissing, grossed out by the thought of two guys holding hands or getting married. Made jokes about how people were probably faggots, and this dude, I think he's a faggot. No, you probably want to suck this dude's dick. Haha, you faggot. I did that my whole life. Like, for a huge part of my life. When I became an adult, I walked away from the juvenile nature of that. but I still held on to that deep-seated like loathing that came from being raised in a whole culture that just hated that aspect of me. And so it was like a deep dark secret, you know. It was one of those things. One of those deep dark secret kind of things. Hold on one second. I'm going to be right back. Get the wasp. Where's that wasp? Where's that wasp? Where that wasp gonna be? Where that wasp gonna be? How far could, this is not gonna reach, is it? Hell to the fuck no, it ain't. All right. Well, you guys are gonna have to come off of that for a while so I can charge this a little. I don't know how much longer I'll do this today, but I'm not ready to quit just yet. So let me just check this real quick. Okay. Well, this kind of sucks. Sorry for the shaky cam, but okay, it'll settle out. The longer you do it, the quicker your night shift goes away. Hey, cool. Well, yeah, man. And I was in the 90s and the 80s is when I was in school. So you can imagine the stigmatization and bullying was even more pronounced probably than it was in the early 2000s. It's more odd when you're by because there's the option of a pretty fulfilling life while remaining in the closet. So there isn't as much of an impetus to come out. There still is an impetus, though. I mean, I guess for me there was, because it's a significant part of who I am in terms of what I'm interested in and stuff. And I don't know, dude. I didn't like having to pretend to be adverse to something that I'm not. I'm a public figure in a way, you know. I'm not saying I'm a giant fucking draw or whatever, but I'm a public figure. I live a very kind of public life, and I didn't want to have to do that. Ew, I'm grossed out by, you know, whatever. I just didn't want to do it. I was tired of playing that role, and so it was important for me to do something about it. I wonder if I moved. I've got an idea. Give me a second. Stay there. I have an idea. I don't know how good of an idea it is, but we'll see. I think. Oh, shit. Okay, there we go. Move this. Oh, shit. Sit down there. Let's move this like shortest distance is a straight line. So let's try that. Dude, I think this is gonna work. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be very sad. But I think this might work. Okay, let's see. Ha Victory. There we go. And we're plugged in. I knew there was a sweet spot on this porch. I don't know why I haven't been shooting from this angle the entire time I've been here. And I'll probably be moving soon, so. Whoops. Whatever. We got good backdrops now. We got an interesting looking backdrop now. Hopefully the phone will actually charge, or at least remain stable. It'll let me know, though. How old were you when you came out as an atheist? I found it can be just as hard sometimes. Oh yeah, that was another. I was in my 20s before I started, labeling myself as such and talking openly with it about it with my family and friends. Seattle seems like the coolest place to live. Why did you move there to Louisiana? Money. Seattle is a really cool place to live, but it's super expensive to live there. And the apocalypse happened, and there was just no way. We had to go. We just had to go. It was that simple. Like $3K rent for a 1-bedroom. Think higher. I lived in Bellevue. You need to go up a bit. This is ridiculous. The most expensive place I've ever lived, and it was a 1-bedroom apartment. It's ridiculous. But cool. It was also one of the coolest places I ever lived. Do you think your hatred of humanity comes from a place of compassion? I don't know. That seems to be at odds with itself. Was it expensive to eat, drink, fuel? Yes. Everything there is more expensive than it is here in terms of cost of living. Power was more expensive. Your gas is more expensive because it's more heavily taxed. Everything there. Food. This is a joke, but this is great value, TJ. Huh? Say what? Have you ever tried learning a new language? I took 2 years of Spanish in high school and then 2 years of French. So, yes and no, I'm not very good at it. How does the average person manage to get by in Seattle? I don't know shit about economics. Do jobs generally pay more or something? Yes. Yeah, they pay a little more. Definitely not enough for you to live like where the jobs are. You still got to commute a little bit, but yes, the minimum wage is higher in Washington than it is here. But we're not, we're not wage people. We're making our money at that time from a business that was owned by 2 of the people on the podcast. So. Dun, 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 dun. Do we want to do a tour? We want to do like force TJ to do the RV trip to finally make good on that promise. We're doing a meetup here next month. Well, not next month, but in September. In early September 6th, I think. And that's a template meetup for us. We want to try and see if we can do it without it costing us a ton of fucking money. If we can find a place where we're like breaking even or even making a little money doing these shows and the people coming to them are happy and everybody's, then that means that more of these are possible. So, and this meetup is going to be crazy too. Paul, you should try dipping for a video. How much was it to go to the Mint? I think the prices were the same as here. I think with the Mint it was like $20 a person, general admission, $60 for VIPs. What did it cost us to go to the Mint? I don't remember, if that's what you were asking. You ever worried that TJ will grow unhappy with DFF like DP and leave you? Leave me? Like we're a spouse? Like I'm his spouse? No. I don't get worried about that. Maybe I should. But I try and focus all of my... I'm a worrier by nature. So there are certain things I'm going to worry about all day. And I try and limit those things and focus on what I'm doing now. And right now, all of that worry energy that I have that might be focused in areas like that is focused towards what I'm doing. And to the best of my ability. So no, I don't, that particular thing I don't worry about. Is TJ cheating with another podcast? No. Maybe he could restart, maybe he could restart Cinema for Senate. Maybe he could. Paul and TJ said their vows during the Tim Allen episode. Did they? The fact that DFF is such a diverse show topically works well with TJ's ADD. Sure. Paul, do you think a new Cinema for Cynics project might be what you need to bring the spark of creativity into your life again? I've got a lot of outlets for creativity currently, so I'm not really hurting for another creative outlet right now, which is one of the main reasons why Cinema for Cynics has gone by the wayside, is that working on the show and the other properties that we've been working on these months has been more important to me. And in order for Cinema for Cynics to be a wildly popular channel or continue to be, while I was updating it, that would have to be a huge chunk of what I do. If you go on a plane anywhere in the world for a few weeks, where would you choose? I don't know. Amsterdam. If I gotta choose someplace, I'll go to Amsterdam. I'll just disappear into Amsterdam for 2 weeks. That should be an acceptable answer to all. Norway. Yeah, I'd go to Dubai for 2 weeks. Why not? I'd go pretty much anywhere in the world where there's a reasonable assurance I won't be machine gunned. Japan for me, because I'm a weeaboo. Well, I'd like to go to Japan too. It's on my list. I'd go to Japan for a couple of weeks. Live like somewhere near the Akihabara district. Is that what it's called? The whole video games and arcades district? Yep, I just live down there. Just be an arcade rat for a couple of weeks. Come to Antarctica. We're pretty cool. Ah. What dinor? What are you dinoring for? Would you eat a durian in India? Durian. No, they smell like dirty diapers. I'm not gonna go to Quebec. I'm not gonna do it. I'm sorry. Not gonna do it. Oh. Nor do I want to go through the fucking artists that I don't know, dude. I'm feeling pretty bored by what you guys are serving up, and I'm pretty sure you're feeling the same about what I'm serving back. This come to my city, would you go to this city shit? Like there's only so many times I can flip that pancake, you know what I mean? You should come to Prague. You should come to Canada. You should come to Michigan. You should come here. You should come there. You should come here. You should go to Japan. I go to Japan. You go to Japan. She go to Japan. We go to Japan. We all go to Japan. Just like you guys get caught in this loop. Like it's like a feedback loop from me where I'm giving you nothing. You know, I'm giving you like, yeah, I'd go there. No, I wouldn't go there. And you guys don't get that the reason why you're getting more bored as time goes on is because I'm getting bored. And you need to stop asking the stupid line of questions that you all, like literally everybody is participating in. You should go here. Would you go to Africa? Would you go to Dubai? Would you go to South Africa? Would you go to the Congo? Would you go South America though? Would you go Central? And I'm just like, yeah, I'd go there. It'd be cool. Yeah, I want to go there. Yeah, I'd go chill there. Yeah, I'd go there. Yeah, I'd go there. And everybody's like, you know, viewership's going boop, 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 boop. Just like, what the fuck? Like, why do you guys get so fucking, like, what is the impulse? Because that's all that, like, Twitch chats are just that impulse. Just like feverishly typing what everybody else is typing in the chat over and over. This is like a bad date. Dude, every date is a bad date with me. It's like when the room goes silent for no reason. Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. It just really bugs me. It's one of the things that bugs me the most about Highdeology. Like if I indulge, there's certain types of question that if I indulge them, I don't realize it at the time, but I'm gonna set off a whole fucking, you know what I mean? If somebody goes, hey Paul, do you like raisins? And I think, hell yeah, I like raisins, and I answer it real quick, you know, give a one-off, then literally, oh, you like raisins, but do you like dates? Oh yeah, I like dates. What about pomegranates? Okay, I'll eat a pomegranate. Oh yeah. You like prunes though? And it's just like every, dude, do you like pizza? Do you like pizza? Do you like pizza? Do you like chicken? Do you like chicken? It's like, like why? Why? Why, dude? Maybe it's an effort to try and stay on topic, but yeah, you guys need, like, you need to be able to sense when the topic is not going anywhere. Like when you're literally asking me, do you go to the Olive Garden? Over and over, hoping that I'll go yeah to you. Like what, do you think like an epic story is gonna happen Because you asked me if I eat the Olive Garden? Yes, I go to the Olive Garden. I do. You can change the topic at any time, Paul. It's your stream. I'm going to go ahead and time you out for being a caps lock abusing piece of shit and for also giving me advice that I clearly already know. Go ahead and take your time out. Suckle on the teat of despair for 300 seconds or whatever it is. If you skip my question, I assume you're not interested and come up with something else to say. What? I mean, that's probably a smart idea. Okay, then, can you tell us what was your most interesting character you played in as D&D if you played it as a kid? See, I didn't. I didn't play D&D properly until a few months before we did our first Dank D&D session. I kind of learned on the fly. Were you and TJ banned from Olive Garden? Yes. And now you are in timeout for 300 seconds for asking a stupid question. I may have to invoke Order 66 here in a second. Order 66 may have to happen here in a second. Yeah, I'll time you out. You seriously, all right, here you go. You're timed. There you go, Brianna. She wanted to taste the salty sting of the timeout. So it came through. Order 66, dude. Yeah. Order 66 is a brutal one, but you gotta do what you gotta do. All right, I think I am gonna go ahead and end this. So yeah.